Wild Time Cooking with Allison Davis is brought to you by Corman Kitchen and Bath.
Welcome back to Midday Kentucky. Chef Allison Davis here in the Wild Time Kitchen. And this week I'm talking about easy, go-to family dinners. Simple, delicious, quick. This one was definitely a staple growing up. We've got burger buns, we got ground beef, we got some onions, some peppers, some garlic, and we've got some sauce ingredients. And if you haven't already figured it out, I'm making Sloppy Joes, a classic American staple. And this is something kids definitely love. This would go great with like a side of like steamed broccoli, but certainly a good go-to dinner weeknight on the fly. Also, this is also a recipe you could certainly do in a crock pot, and you could have ready to go when you get home. So we're just going to whip this up quickly. We're going to start with the basics, which is just simply sauteing some onions and some peppers and a little bit of garlic. I'm going to start with the onions because they do sometimes take a little bit longer to get that nice translucent. You could saute this in butter if you like, but I tend to go with just a little bit of olive oil. Again, we're going with some bell peppers. That's going to give it a nice little sweetness and also a pop of color. We're just going to let these kind of start to work a little bit and, again, just soften up. Got a tad bit of garlic. For me, the more garlic, the better, but again, that's just kind of a personal preference. And then while that's sauteing a little bit, we'll talk a little bit about the sauce ingredients. For seasoning, we're going to go with a bit of chili powder. And one that I love, this is a love-hate relationship for a lot of people. A chef that works with me cannot stand this. I absolutely love it, but I like smoky flavors in my dishes. So this is a bit of liquid smoke. You can get this at your conventional grocery store. Most grocery stores will carry this in a little bottle. Basically, all this is just like smoke drippings that just gives your food that wonderful, like smoky, kind of rich flavor. So if you're not a fan of smoked, like hickory or smoked foods, you can certainly omit this and you're still going to get a great result. All right, we have Dijon mustard that we're going to add to this. Some apple cider vinegar, so this kind of helps to bind everything together. The apple cider vinegar helps to just bring that acidity. Ketchup's going to bring a little sweet and salty, also gives us that tomato base. And then a bit of Worcestershire sauce also is going to add some salt and some balance. And last but not least, we need to balance all of this with something sweet. It's all about the balance, so we are going to go with brown sugar in this recipe. But if you don't like processed sugar, a lot of times at home I have used honey as well. All right, so our peppers, our onions are nice and translucent. Now we're just going to start to work in our ground chuck, or you could go with ground beef. I tend to go with an 80-20 or even a 90-10, like Laura's lean ground beef. Just, you know, to kind of eliminate some of the fat drippings. So we'll just start to brown this up, and then once we get our beef nice and brown, then we're going to start to add in our sauce ingredients. All right, you can see that we've got our beef nice and browned off, and now we're just going to simply just add in our sauce ingredients. So we'll start with a bit of our Dijon mustard. Again, you know me, it's all about the taste. So this is a personal preference in terms of the quantities and the ratios. So start out with maybe a couple tablespoons of your Dijon mustard. We'll kind of deglaze a bit with some apple cider vinegar. I definitely prefer the unfiltered apple cider vinegar. It's not quite as harsh. A couple tablespoons, actually start with a teaspoon of your liquid smoke, because the liquid smoke is a little bit goes a long way. So if you like it, you can always add two. You can't necessarily take away. We're going to season with our chili powder. I went ahead and already seasoned a bit with salt and pepper. Okay, we're going to add in our ketchup. Again, the ketchup's really going to provide that base and that tomato sauce. So about a half a cup of your ketchup. A couple splashes of Worcestershire sauce, and then we're going to go in with our brown sugar, which I have about a quarter of a cup to a third of a cup. All right, the thing about this, once you get this together, you can honestly just let it simmer anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. The longer the better. You're going to get those flavors developed. And again, this also is going to make a great crock pot recipe. All right, you guys know where to find this. You can go to middaykentucky.com/recipes tab. I'm Chef Allison Davis. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back after this short break.